We begin tonight with some troubling economic news for Canada. New numbers show the economy is taking a hit, shrinking under the weight of outside forces. CTV's Kamal Karamali has been crunching the numbers and joins us now with what's behind the blow to Canada's GDP. Kamal.
Marcia, the downturn driven by the ongoing trade war, signaling signs of a possible recession.
So Mark Carney just dropped his first budget called Canada Strong, a 400-page word salad that is really more of the same. This isn't Canada Strong, it's more like Canada in chains, indebted. Because let's be honest, this thing is a budget from hell. We're talking record debt, very little economic growth, and record delusion. Over $115 billion on vague infrastructure announcements, then $30 billion on defense, again, without specifying exactly what will come of it, and still a $78 billion deficit, much bigger than all of Trudeau's terrible budgets. That's not nation building. That's a nation borrowing. And every new dollar that they print is another anchor around the neck of the next generation.
And we don't lightly use the word unsustainable, right? Unsustainable means you don't have the option of saying, maybe I'll wait a couple of years, I'll see how things go. It means if you don't change, this is done.
They brag about balancing spending by 2028 and keeping debt to GDP ratio flat, whatever that means. But that's just political code for we'll keep digging until the hole is deep enough that you can't even see us anymore. More spending means more money supply and therefore a weaker Canadian dollar. Higher prices. The Canadian dollar is already at 70 cents. They call it investment. But if you're paying $9 for butter and your mortgage keeps getting higher and higher, that's not investment, that's punishment, that's suffering, that's bankruptcy.
While April, May, and June then saw a sharp drop-off in business investment by roughly 10%.
The depth of decline that we're seeing in the manufacturing sector is something that we haven't seen in many years. And so it is a cause for concern.
Vehicle exports plummeting nearly 25%, industrial machinery exports and travel services also falling drastically. In fact, Canada saw an unprecedented trade deficit in the second quarter, with a big gap between its minimal exports versus its massive amount of imports.
You'd think they would throw Canadians a bone with a tax cut, maybe, I don't know, some sort of relief, fiscally speaking, for working families or even small businesses. But nope. Not a single meaningful tax break. More consultants, more bureaucracy, while your buying power continues to collapse. They claim they'll trim the public sector by 10% over 4 years. That is not significant enough. It's laughable. That's not reform. That's rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic.
Well, certainly I would agree. Our forecast is for very modest growth. Second half of this year, averaging only 0.75%. We do expect it to pick up, but as I indicated in my remarks, this is a structural adjustment, and so that's going to take some time. So yes, I don't have all the G7 forecasts in front of me, but we're not going to be the fastest growing economy.
Meanwhile, the loonie, the Canadian dollar, keeps sliding. This isn't Canada strong, it's Canada stretched. Stretched by ideology, arrogance, and spending addiction. A real strong budget would cut waste, lower taxes, and strengthen the dollar. Instead, the Liberal government just poured jet fuel on inflation and called it progress. So the next time they brag about generational investments, remember they're talking about your kids and your grandkids, because they'll be the ones paying for this budget from hell long after these politicians have retired. Okay, so we're quickly going to take to Twitter and see what people are saying about today's disastrous budget. We got Government X is corrupt saying, Champagne, I think that's the finance minister, says the Liberals can't be held accountable for the last decade of failures. Okay, if not them, then who? because they've been the ones in power for 10 years. Who? They're going to blame it on Stephen Harper again, even though he hasn't been in government since 2015? The tweet says, because the world has changed and we can't compare today to the time before Trump. Oh, they're going to blame Trump, I guess. Amazing. It's always someone else's fault with this effing government, says the tweet. Let's have a listen to what they had to say.
I would say my impression after going through the budget is the pitch is we have to spend this much. I know you're going to say invest, but you're spending money, you're spending taxpayer money in order to garner a significant growth in the return on investment. And my question to you is, like, how do you know that that return will come? And I put to you with great respect, you were the ministry who oversaw decisions to put a ton of taxpayer money into the EV sector that is now blowing up in all our faces.
People understand at home we have some headwinds. The world has changed. We live in a very different world, and the way forward for us, and I know you would want to use the word spending, but folks at home understand. When you go to the grocery store, you spend. When you buy a house, you invest. For government, it's about the same, you know?
As you speak, it reminds me so clearly of a message you delivered as a different kind of minister under a different prime minister, but from the same party. When over and over the refrain from your government at the time was confident Canadians invest in themselves. And the promise was also for economic growth. Instead, what happened on a per capita basis is that GDP declined by 2.5% below pre-pandemic levels over the last 5 years. Liberals were not able to deliver on the promise that you're making tonight. Why is this time any different?
But in fairness, Bashi, in fairness, the world has changed. I mean, people understand at home. The scope, speed, and scale of the change, I wish you would be at the G7 with me. When we sit together, we say what we're seeing today is unprecedented, probably since 1945. So you can compare a period before the world changed, when our largest trading partner decided to change the rules of the game, not only for Canada, but for the world.
Blame
you
Trump.
can compare these two periods. It's like if you...
But really, because you're
Blame
saying the
Trump.
exact same things. We need to invest in ourselves in order to get a return on the investment, and you're guaranteeing that will come when it never did before.
This is what the Liberals have done for the past decade. They've destroyed Canada. They've destroyed the economy and blamed everyone else but themselves. It's Trump. It's Stephen Harper. It's the virus. It's someone else. It's because of China. It's never their fault. They've been in power for 10 freaking years, and they still can't take a little bit of accountability that their way of governing has brought us here. They invested a lot of our taxpayers' money into electric vehicles, and just recently that blew up in their faces. Here we have another tweet by Vesper. Budget 2025 summary. CBC, the deficit is twice as high as we saw from Chrystia Freeland in the fall economic budget, and growth is half. So we're spending twice as much as we spent last year, and growth is half. Oh, Canada. 78.3 billion now, 322 billion over 5 years. Temporary foreign immigration cut by half. Well, I think that's the only decent thing coming out of today, is that if they actually do that, that is a good thing. I mean, long overdue and badly needed for them to cut immigration. You got a country where Canadians can't even find work in their own country, and yet you keep bringing in cheap labor from overseas. All right, let's have a listen.
Yeah, here it is. It's called Canada Strong, Budget 2025. You can see all the tabs I've made. There's a lot in this, Rosie, including a big jump in the deficit. Let's start by walking through the numbers. The big number is the deficit this year. It is $78.3 billion. Now, that's not the $100 billion some people projected, but that's a heck of a lot higher than people are used to seeing in a non-COVID year, and it stays at an elevated rate in all the years after this, going out until 2030. You can see the $78.3 billion this year. It's going to be $65.4 billion next year, $63.5 billion the year after that. Just shy of $58 billion and just shy of $57 billion by 2029, 2030. Broadly, Rosie, this year and the next couple of years, the deficit is twice as high as we would have seen in the fall economic statement that Chrystia Freeland tabled in December, and growth is half of what was projected just 9-10 months ago.
Hey, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to be notified every time a new video is published, hit hit the subscribe button and activate the notifications bell. It's completely free and it helps our channel grow. A heartfelt thank you to all our channel members. I really appreciate your support. See you all in the next one. Peace.